Hi, Cody Prentice from Elevate DDS. Wanted to record some videos today to kind of talk about what you should be looking for in your next dental website design. Wanted to talk about each of the elements that you should be looking for, what you should be asking the next company to design your website and perform some of your marketing services. So jumping right into that, and I will release several more videos that go into depth on each one of these elements, but first off I just wanted to talk about them in a video, get them out there, and hopefully this helps you out in doing some research and developing your next dental website. So the first thing I want to talk about is responsive design. So what responsive design essentially means is that instead of having a separate website for your mobile visitors, you're going to have one website that kind of shrinks down and rearranges to whatever viewport that you might be viewing it on. So again, you can kind of test this if you go into your browser, go to a website, and then just kind of move the browser in and out, and you can see how the elements rearrange on the screen. That typically represents responsive design versus having a separate mobile website, which I've pulled up a competitor's website and what they do for. This is actually a mobile website that's being pulled up on a tablet device, so they're serving again mobile to tablet, which is not a good idea. You want to make sure that again, if you're using responsive design, it's going to shrink down a little bit and fit the tablet device and still have a fluid user experience. So they're kind of falling a little bit short there. They do again have a mobile presence, so if I wanted to take a look and see how it looked, this is looking on an iPad mini. I can look at it how it looks on an iPad 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus. It looks a little bit better, so you kind of get the drift there a little bit. But responsive design is definitely going to be better for SEO. It's going to be more future-proof, and then again, when you make edits, you don't have to worry about editing two separate sites. You can do it all in one, and it will show up on your website on desktop as well as tablet and mobile. The second portion of that is you're going to want to make sure that it loads extremely fast. So sometimes what happens if you use responsive design is it can get a little bit more bloated. And so if I go to view it on my mobile device, it might take longer to load. So that's one of the things that we're going to do. This is one of our newer templates. We've got a client set up on it that it's customized for them in their practice here. I've pulled it up on a speed test and ran this through Pingdom website speed test tools. I've tested that. It loads in under a second, which is extremely fast. Usually you want your websites to load at least in 3 seconds or less. If it takes longer than that, you're going to lose the patience of some of your visitors and some potential patients. Usually it's going to happen in about 3 seconds or less. They're going to bounce out and go to maybe a competitor's website. The second portion you're going to want to look at is you want to make sure that your website is decluttered and personalized. This is a separate client that has sent us some images of the doctors and the staff, so we've been able to Photoshop that and put it in different places that they wanted to see it. It's had a clear call to action, so again, if I'm looking to request an appointment, it's right there. I don't have to flip through a bunch of pages. I don't have to look through a bunch of unnecessary clutter. It's really easy. It's simple. This website also has what our patients say. You can put in testimonials if you'd like. It definitely helps. It wouldn't hurt. But what's going to happen to a lot of potential patients is they're really not going to trust what's embedded on somebody's site and a doctor's site. They're really going to go to third-party review sites, maybe Google Plus or Google Maps, Yelp, Facebook, things like that. And they're going to take a look at things that can't be faked. I could put a quote from Einstein on anybody's website, and somebody really is not going to trust that as like them reviewing you. So those two things, you're also going to want to make sure that your website ranks pretty well in two separate spots. So this is the same client in Roanoke. We've got them ranking extremely well in the Google Maps section and the organic section, which are two completely separate factors. So somebody can show up pretty high in the local results, but maybe not show up in organic. So you want to make sure that the next website company that you use is going to be optimizing for both of those spots. And then lastly, what you're going to want to make sure is that you're doing something to encourage positive reviews. So happy customers typically, happy patients are typically not going to think about leaving positive reviews. They're just happy. They don't think about going on and reviewing you and how that's going to help your business, even though they love your practice. So you're going to want to make sure that there's a system in place to encourage positive reviews, and at the same time, be able to respond to and kind of sort out some of those negative responses and negative reviews, which might be happening more so for this other competitor down here. So those are basically the things you want to look for: responsive design, decluttered, personalized, ranks well, and doing something to encourage reviews.